Today we are going to look at the Houston Texans all-time team. This first video is about the offense. Nonetheless, Houston Texans, they used to have a team in Houston called the Houston Oilers. Now, I'm not doing any of these old teams that eventually got moved. And, we all know that there is no Oilers anymore. There's removed with the Texans. All the players that I have on here, there is none from the Oilers. It's all from the Texans. Houston Oilers didn't become another team at all, so they didn't really. It kind of ended that whole, that whole era. All those players, unfortunately, Earl Campbell, those kind of guys, Warren Moon, they won't be on this list because, well, they weren't they were not part of this expansion. They were not part of this team, so that's an unfortunate thing, but that is the truth. The Houston Oilers are the Tennessee Titans, so that's pretty much what it is. Houston Oilers, they moved to Nashville, they became the Tennessee Titans. So letting you know, this is just a brand new team that they built, and let me tell you, it's fairly new, fairly new team. They were established, on October 6, 1999, so 18 years ago, and the first season was 2002. So they are very new. And on top of that, right now they play and they are headquartered in NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. They have been a part of the National Football League pretty much their entire time. They've been a part of the AFC their entire history. They've been in the AFC South their entire history. Their team colors are deep steel blue, battle red, liberty white. Their fight song is Football Time in Houston, and their mascot is Toro. The owner, the chairman, and the CEO are all Bob McNair. The president is Jamie Roots. The general manager is Rick Smith. The head coach is Bill O'Brien as of right now. The Houston Texans have not won a title at all, have never won an AFC, have won 4 division titles in the AFC South, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2016, as well as made the playoffs 4 times, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2016. And like I said, their stadium is the NRG Stadium. This is a team that's brand spanking new pretty much, trying to just win a title. They're just trying to get to the AFC Championship, and that hasn't happened ever. So this is a fairly new team with a lot of talent, a lot of upside, I would say, with Deshaun Watson coming in, and we all know about J.J. Watt and all those guys, Jadeveon Clowney. It's a good team, and they have the ability to be a contender in the long run. But as of right now, they're just trying to figure things out, and they're going to try to make sure they win their first AFC title before they even win a Super Bowl. That's for sure. But yeah, this is a really great team, and well, let's start counting it down. We're gonna start with the quarterback, of course, all the time. It's gonna be Matt Schaub. He is he's passed for the most yards. He's had a lot of just better statistics as of right now. Deshaun Watson still coming into his own. Brock Osweiler failed. Just overall, they've had some pretty terrible QBs, but Matt Schaub is one of those guys that honestly I could look at and be like, all right, yeah, this guy actually had some pretty good numbers. He had some great years in there, and he was able to just be that leader. And he played for 7 years out there in Houston. Had over 20,000 passing yards. Had over 100 touchdowns. I mean, he had 258 yards a game. That's his average there. So that's pretty amazing, and had a pretty good QBR. I mean, overall, he was a fantastic QB. And he got it done. I mean, honestly, he kind of gave some exciting times to Houston, to a franchise that's definitely desperately wanting to win. And I think Matt Schaub will do just that. I think he'll do just fine. We'll see how it goes. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. Like I said, he's gonna go up against some terrible for him, defenses that are scary. So he's gonna have to be prepared for the worst. So, but I do believe that this is a guy that can lead the team with good help for sure. Running back, Aaron Foster. So we are not going to have a fullback at all. We're actually going to have 3 receivers and a tight end there. I think it just makes the most sense, and it just seems like it's just going to work out pretty well, and it's going to be pretty entertaining to see. So Aaron Foster used to be one of the best running backs in the game. He kind of fell off he really fell off actually, and yeah, we just haven't seen much about him. Haven't heard a peep about him. It's pretty terrible, especially at the age of 24, he was getting recognition as one of the best running backs in the game. So this is a guy that's a 4-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro. He knows what he's doing. He had some great times, especially in Houston. Like, he exploded in Houston. He did some great things. Injuries, of course, kind of killed him. But there was instances where he played mostly every game and dominated a lot of games. So overall, this is a very valuable guy. I think he's going to do just fine out here in Houston. Matt's just got to give him the ball, and he's just got to, that's it. He's just got to work with it and succeed and do what he does best, which is pretty much be one of the top rushers. Like I said, he's been able to have those games where he can dominate. That's all I expect from him is for him to just do really well. But yeah, wide receiver is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you need a really good targets. You need great targets. You need good targets, decent targets, to be successful in an all-time league. And I think DeAndre Hopkins, I think he can roll with the best of them if healthy. He is a Pro Bowler after all. He's still very young. He's the age of 25. He's still got a lot of time to go. We have a lot of time to go. But he has the ability of taking over ball games, and I really do believe in that. I do believe that he can be that must-have TV. That option that Schaub goes to. That he won't be disappointed. He'll be successful with it because DeAndre will catch anything. He's got big hands. Has the ability of running great routes, and he has the ability of being just potentially an elite, if not the best receiver in the game. At one point of his career, he could possibly be that if he stays healthy and if he continues to produce. As of right now, it's very early for me to say, but I'm already putting him on there. He seems like he has that potential sky high. So, in my opinion, I would love to see DeAndre Hopkins on this all-time team. I think Schaub, throwing it to him, Schaub's going to get better numbers with DeAndre Hopkins definitely on this team. Now, you need another wide receiver on the outside, and it's going to be Andre Johnson. He is the best Houston Texan wide receiver of all time, and he will be for a while. He's racked up a lot of numbers throughout his career in Houston. He's racked up over 1,000 receptions. He's racked up over like 13,000 receiving yards. He's had about 64 receiving touchdowns. He's a guy that was and always will be a star. And I think that this guy is the epitome of a future Hall of Famer. In my honest opinion, he is a future Hall of Famer. He's racked up over 1,000+ receptions. He needs to be put into this conversation. He hasn't had that much playoff experience, unfortunately, but when he did, he wasn't terrible. And you're looking at a guy that, in my honest opinion, he knows Schaub. They played together. There's a connection there, and I think that connection will fit wonders for when he's trying to figure out where DeAndre wants to have the ball put to him, like everywhere. He's got Andre already figured out. So in my opinion, I enjoy this. I think it's going to be very exciting to see Andre on one side, DeAndre on the other side. So yeah. Now, since I don't have a fullback, we're doing this 3 wide receiver position. Of course, you can always do 2 tight ends, but I'm not going to do 2 tight ends. There is no other great tight end that the Houston Texans have had. That's only one. So I'm going to put the slot receiver in. It's going to be Kevin Walter. Kevin Walter will be my slot receiver. Yeah, it's just a pretty big receiver for the most part that can go get the ball. He played for Houston pretty much for 7 years out of his 10-year career. He's a guy that's had about 300+ receptions and about 4,000+ yards, 24 receiving touchdowns. This is a guy that when you want to find an open man and no one's there, you just give it to Kevin Walter. He'll definitely figure out a way to get open, to get to a good spot. And I think Schaub will definitely use Kevin Walter pretty well. They know each other. They played with each other. So that's another thing. Like I said, Kevin Walter, Andre Johnson, and of course DeAndre. I really believe in that connection. That I think that all that will fit well. So honestly, not bad. Some good targets from Matt Schaub. We'll see how he how he handles that. And he also has a tight end, which I will be announcing pretty soon. The tight end's Owen Daniels, tight end for the Houston Texans for a long time. First of all, Owen Daniels is a two-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl MVP. He's played for the Ravens. He played for the Broncos. He's won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, of course. But this is a guy that, before all that, he got acquired, got Peyton Manning, could play with, with Baltimore. He was a Houston Texan. He played with Matt Schaub, and he racked up almost 400 receptions. Like, honestly, this is not a Hall of Famer. This is a pretty good football player. He had, a pretty good career, a 10-year career that, I think he'll be remembered from Houston, from Denver, if they really, really want to, know every player on that 2015 Super Bowl championship team. But he'll be remembered as a Houston Texan, as being right now the best Houston Texan tight end in history. He's just had more numbers. He's been able to be more productive out of any other tight end right now. So it might not take that long for another guy to step in, maybe, have that crown. But until then, Owen Daniels will have this crown for a little bit. And, this is a guy that put his all into it, and he did a really good job. And I do believe that this guy will be, I wouldn't say his number retired, but he'll be remembered in some sort of way out there in Houston. And like I said, honestly, I like the idea of having Owen Daniels there as another cushion for Schaub's weapons and targets. Left tackle, Dwayne Brown. So Dwayne Brown has been one of the best left tackles in the game, and overall started almost everything for Houston for a long time. Like, he was that anchor. He was that guy that, honestly, you leaned on. You really leaned on to make sure that on that side, on that left side, on that blind side, nothing's going to happen. Dwayne Brown's got you. So in my opinion, Dwayne Brown, having him there, right now he is a Seattle Seahawk, but he is a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's a 1-time All-Pro. He is really, he's a fantastic lineman. I think it's a fantastic beginning to this offensive line of Houston. They definitely have some good players that will make sure they protect Matt Schaub at all times, and Dwayne Brown is one of these guys. So left guard, Chester Pitts. You want Dwayne Brown? Dwayne Brown's a monster. You know who else is a monster? Chester Pitts. Chester Pitts at one point had a streak going where he missed nothing, like no games, and then 2009 is when he got injured. But you're looking at a guard that also is a tackle, so anything happens to Dwayne Brown, you can just sub him in there, and that's that. But that's just hypothetical. I'm thinking hypothetically, with no injuries, nothing like that. You're looking at Dwayne Brown and then Chester Pitts right by him. That left side is looking pretty good. Is looking pretty swell. I think Dwayne Brown, really good against some of the best defensive ends, and Chester Pitts, he's gonna do what he can to make sure that he protects Matt Schaub at all times, and especially try to get some of those lanes open so Aaron Foster can start going wild on those runs. Try to get that vintage Aaron Foster back. So center, Chris Myers. The center's Chris Myers, a guy that is a 2-time Pro Bowler that ended up being in Houston for the last 7 years of his career after being 3 years out there in Denver. A guy that missed no time with the Houston Texans. He played every single game and started every single game. This is a center that's going to call the shots, and he knows what he's doing. And, he's done it before. I see nothing wrong with him. I think he's going to be just fine. And, honestly, he's a Pro Bowler. He knows what he's doing. He has played guard before, but he's definitely a better center. And he's a big dude, big center. I believe in him, and I believe in what he's going to do is make sure that him and Chester Pitts and the other guard that you will find out about pretty soon open lanes for Aaron Foster, and of course try to get Matt Schaub some time to throw. Right guard is Mike Brazil. Mike Brazil was a Raider, also a Houston Texan. He became a Houston Texan pretty much. What happened was he didn't get drafted, but he got picked up by Houston, he played for 5 years there. He played the last 2 years of his career in Oakland. Definitely, he didn't have many healthy years. He didn't have many healthy starts. So this is a very, I would say this is very risky for this right side overall. Like the right guard wise, it's very risky just because he has dealt with issues with his whole injury thing, and he's injury prone, which means how is he going to face against top D-line, top defensive tackles of all time kind of thing. We don't know, right? But we do know that he is the best right guard option that they have. Therefore, well, we'll see how it goes with him. But other than that, I like the whole half side. The center is fine. It's fantastic. And the other two on the left side's pretty great maintained. So the right side, I think Schaub has to definitely worry about Brazil. But maybe he can hold his own, and you never know. So, right tackle, Eric Winston. Eric Winston, a long-time Houston Texan for 6 years pretty much. Played in 92 games. Was at one point just consistently just healthy and was able to just produce well. And, he was valuable to Cincinnati. He was valuable to Arizona and even Kansas City. But Houston, he provided just like Dwayne Brown. They both were healthy. They both were stars at their own right, and he did not get any recognition Pro Bowl wise, but this was a solid guy. And honestly, I think both of the tackle positions, I think we'll see pretty good fit. I really do believe both of them will be doing pretty fine. I think I definitely believe that the center position will be fine. Chester Pitts will be fine. We'll see how Breezeal does, but yeah, I think Winston has the potential of it. I just definitely see the left side a little stronger than the right side. So Matt Schaub definitely has to not watch his back, because Eric Winston can still hang, but I just think the left side is a little bit more structured to compete better. And though with that, the best defensive ends are definitely going to try to attack the right side. So we'll see how that goes. But I do believe that Eric Winston can definitely hang and be a pretty good tackle to this team.